The information provided on this show does not, and is not intended to, constitute legal advice. Instead, all information on this show is for general informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for legal advice, and we recommend viewers consult an attorney for specific legal matters.
Good morning and welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs here on our YouTube channel. Karen Curtis along with attorney Eric Glazer, and we are so happy to be back with you live at 11 a.m. And we've got a great show for you today, a little bit of a chuckle coming up, but we really want to thank our sponsors. They are the best. They are diamond, gold, platinum sponsors. Best Roofing, of course, is in South Florida, and they are our diamond sponsor, and we would be nowhere without them. Eric,
they're going to actually be here in 2 weeks.
No.
Yeah, right in the middle of hurricane season to kind of give some tips. I know, Rod, you arranged that this week, right?
That's right.
Yeah, because, you know, if your roof goes, the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely.
That's it.
Destroys the whole house.
It's the whole thing.
Yes,
and so if you need to make sure you got your roof on tight. So he's board certified in Community Association and Plan Development Law, and he has a law firm here in Hollywood, Glazer and Sachs, and then also offices in Orlando. And we want to get the phone lines going early. In case you have a question, you can also ask in the chat. The number to call 717-GLAZER-8 with a Z. That's 717-452-9378. And again, you can also ask us a question in the chat box. A lot of people do both.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again on this Sunday. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe to two things. Number one, of course, the Condo Craze channel on YouTube, where you don't have to just watch the show live. You can watch the show at your convenience and any one of the other 200 shows that we have in our library. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe to our email list at condocrazeandhoas.com. By doing so, you get announcements about the show each week. You get updates on the law, updates on our seminars, and a whole lot more. And, of course, every Monday, we do a blog on a different topic. I think we have 600 different topics that are now searchable by topic, and you can get to that by going to the show's website at Condo Craze and HOAs.
Before blogging was a thing.
Before blogging was a thing. That's exactly right. 600 on there that are now searchable. So.
Yeah, and you sometimes go and look up your own stuff.
Absolutely.
Because it's there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so smart. Also, you can follow us on the socials, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
All right. So there's a recent Florida case that has gotten even some national attention, and it involves a woman by the name of Irina Green, who was cited for violations in her HOA involving brown grass, a dented garage door, and a dirty mailbox by her HOA.
Good grief.
Yeah, big time crimes here.
Yeah.
And after receiving notices and a lawsuit, she was given 30 days to rectify the situation.
Okay.
That was in court.
I think I sent this to you back when, because
Yes,
I
you
was
did.
so shocked by this story.
This became a big story.
Yeah, so she missed her court date. That's a no-no. Warrant was issued. A warrant was issued for her arrest, and she was jailed for 7 days.
Yes, she was.
For
Yes,
burnt out grass, a dented garage door, and a dirty mailbox.
Well, that's how the press is portraying this, as a terrible situation where an owner went to jail in Florida for failing to water her grass. But the truth is, that's not really why she went to jail. You know, it made Florida really look bad, like a nut job state here. Yeah. I'm not sure. I think on the West Coast. But, you know, she really went to jail for failing to show up in court, not because of brown grass.
Well, she probably, yeah, I don't even want to speculate, but I understand you, of course, have a family member with a similar story, not an HOA situation, but something else even more petty.
Yes, even more petty than this. And it all boils down to you better show up in court when it's time to show up in court. Listen to this. Talk about a story. People with court dates better listen up, because this is a story, I can honestly mean this, you won't believe. My nephew, Jonathan, right, when he was 16 years old, he's living in Brooklyn, right? A nerdy high school kid with a 94 grade point average.
This is about 15 years ago.
Yeah, long time, maybe 20 years ago. Yeah, a real good kid. And one day he's riding his bicycle on the sidewalk in Brooklyn instead of riding it in the street, or as Brooklynites would say, or in the gutter, right?
That's a no-no?
That's a no-no. So apparently, ignoring the local muggers and killers, the cops decide to stop this 16-year-old kid and give him a summons for riding his bicycle on the sidewalk. And the summons required him to actually appear in Brooklyn criminal court.
Did he even show his mom, or he just like
He showed his dad.
Oh.
That I know. So I used to work in Brooklyn criminal court,
Oh.
and it's not a place where you simply want to go to ever. Believe me. So
yeah, it's a bad place.
It's a bad place.
I can
Absolutely.
certainly see where this is going.
Yeah. So thinking that he was doing the right thing, Jonathan's father tells him, "Look, you go to school instead, and I'll take care of this summons. I'll talk to the judge. No need to miss a day of school for this insanity." So the case gets called, and his father is there, and the judge gets angry that Jonathan isn't in court, but only his father is.
So he could have been in court, and then the truant officer would say, "You're not in school.
Right, exactly.
What are you doing?
Right, you can't win here."
I mean, so
So the judge says, "Nope, I want the kid to be here. I want Jonathan to be here." So what happens? Judge tells the clerk, "Issue a new court date to come back."
okay.
And of course, what do you think happens? He doesn't get notice of the new court date.
Oh,
That new court date is called.
and the
Of
warrant.
course, they're not there,
The
and a warrant is issued for Jonathan's arrest. If you can believe this, for riding his bicycle on the sidewalk. So a few months later, what's happening? Because Jonathan at the time was a high school student, he has a bus and train pass, like every New York kid gets a bus and free bus and train pass. So he uses it on the subway. A cop comes over to him and says, "Wait, let me see that." Says, "Today's Martin Luther King Day. You can't use your bus pass today." Kid says, "I'm so sorry, officer. I didn't know I couldn't use it today. I didn't realize you can't use it on a day school is closed." He apologizes, said he had no idea what was going on. The cop says, "No problem, innocent mistake. I'll run you as long as there's no warrants out for you. You can go."
You have got to be kidding me.
Yep. So
this is just shocking.
what do you think happens?
Okay, so Jonathan didn't go to jail because he rode his bicycle on the sidewalk. What happened?
Well, the warrant comes up.
Yeah.
The warrant comes up, and Jonathan, a kid with a 94 grade point average of a student, he's taken into custody and thrown into central booking in Brooklyn, and thrown in with the killers, drug dealers, rapists, pickpockets, murderers. And let's just say my sister didn't make it almost when she saw her son in a Brooklyn jail cell. So
This is called scared straight.
this is called scared
I don't
straight.
understand this. This is
Now,
crazy.
we know that this Florida case got a lot of negative publicity for HOAs because the press really made it seem as if an owner went to jail because they had brown grass, but that's not the case. She went to jail because she missed a mandatory court appearance, and the judge issued a warrant for the arrest. So again, same thing the same exact thing happened to Jonathan. It's not because he went to jail for using a bus pass. It's for failing to show up.
Yeah, but his dad
in
showed
court.
up,
Right,
which should have been fine.
Right, I get it. But that's what happens when you fail to show up in court.
And that's the moral of the story.
Here's the moral. If you're charged with minor offenses like having brown grass, riding your bicycle on the sidewalk, or using your bus pass when there's no school, never, ever, ever ignore a date to come to court. And if an emergency comes up and you can't make it, well, the bottom line is you better call the judge's chambers and let the judge know that you can't make it. Hey, for those of you thinking at home, what does Jonathan look like? What does this crazed bus pass killer look like? Put a picture up there.
Oh, he's in the slammer.
It's up there. Way to go. Yeah, a real crazed lunatic, right? Looks like, looks real dangerous.
But in D.C. right now,
Yes.
these kids his age are jacking cars armed, and they're not even, so things are different state
Things
to
are much
state.
different. They get out. He goes to prison.
That's right.
Yes, yes.
Oh, and so does she. It's Florida
Yep.
versus
The
other
rest of the world. In
Right.
Florida, we send everybody to prison
Right.
here, but in Brooklyn, and by the way, as we're talking about this, Brooklyn had a terrible mass shooting last night. So
which Jonathan had nothing to do
and
with.
he would have been thrown in the cell with them.
With them.
Yes, same exact situation. Jonathan, stay out of trouble, young man.
So that's on his
And then-
record.
I was 16. I'm sure that's gone by now.
I would hope.
Yes. And on that note, if you got a similar story at home, let us know. Give us a call here in the studio, 717-452-9378. That's 717-GLAZER8. Or drop us a question in the chat box on YouTube. We'll be back right after this.
There are very large management companies and there are very small management companies. And I think Affinity sits somewhere in the middle of that, where they are big enough to provide you with all of the back of the house services, the accounting, the infrastructure, the support systems, but small enough to be high touch.
We believe at Affinity that we do the 9 to 5 so that you don't have to do that.
And welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel. And I just want to have you call in. Do you think your condo or HOA has too much power? What's the most picayune thing that they violated you for? I'm sure you have a story to tell. Give us a call, and no story is too silly. 717-452-9378. That's 717-GLAZER8. We want to hear from you.
I just got a text from my nephew. He's suing me, apparently. But okay, let's take our first phone call of the day.
All right, first caller is Gilda.
Hi, Gilda.
From North Miami Beach.
Good morning, Gilda. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you, Eric and Karen?
Okay, how can we help?
We have a rule, which most condos do, that there's no commercial vehicles allowed parked overnight. So a family moved in that evidently is a pastor in a church locally here, and the church vehicle is a self-promoting with writing on it. The church, I think the email address, etc. Before sending out a violation or stickering their vehicle, I'd like to know if we, of course, don't want to get involved with any discrimination so that we wind up on in the newspapers or TV. You understand, as you
Yeah, you don't want to tow
about.
Jesus.
Right.
I'm
Okay,
sorry?
so let me stop you right there. Just because the van is from a church doesn't give it any more rights than any other owner in the community. The bottom line is if the documents say
Okay.
no commercial vehicles, no commercial lettering, it applies to everybody, even
But churches aren't
pastor or
commercial.
reverend, anybody else from the church. Sorry?
They're not commercial.
Now,
Yes.
yeah, but still it could be considered commercial if it's not a residential vehicle.
Oh.
Like strictly there to transport
Oh, no.
passengers, if there's lettering on it.
The name of the church is on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Also, the other vehicle, possibly his wife's car, has a big picture of Jesus on it on the back window and says, "Jesus loves you."
oh, really? Okay. No,
with the-
listen, that does not get you a pass in a condo. Simply
Really?
because it says it. Now, a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, what about the new law out there that says that you get to park your commercial vehicle and nobody could prevent that? And that's only for an HOA.
Ah,
Only for an HOA. That new amendment to the law only went for HOAs. So yes, as long as the declaration is being violated, and read the declaration carefully. By doing that, is the declaration being
Yep.
violated? If it is, then the rules apply to them, just like it would apply to anybody else in the community. get your attorney on it, have them send out a letter.
But the
telling them
headline
to-
is still going to be
Right.
that they violated Jesus.
Right.
It's true.
Pastor goes to
won't-
prison for putting a Jesus sign on his
It
car.
won't
That's
say
all what
because
we
they
need in the
violated
show.
the docs.
Right, exactly. So be careful, but have your attorney send out a letter. Absolutely, they get no special treatment. Okay?
Okay.
You've talked
Thank
to
you
them?
very much.
Thanks for the
And
phone call. I guess not. How about we go to the next call, Rob?
Great. Next caller is Joe from Pompano.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you doing?
Good.
Okay, how can we help?
Okay, Eric, I'm going to challenge you on this one. About 10 years ago, HUD issued a reverse mortgage to a condo owner in our building.
Yep.
The owner passed away about 7 years ago, and since then, the unit has changed hands twice. The first buyer never paid any assessments nor maintenance fees. The association eventually foreclosed and recovered the money that was owed. The current owner discovered after the fact that there was a reverse mortgage on it and now is refusing to pay any maintenance. When the property went to auction last February, HUD did not claim any of the proceeds. All funds, aside from what was owed to the association, went to the previous owner who never paid any maintenance. My key question is this: if HUD still has an interest in the property, aren't they responsible for the maintenance and assessments and the taxes?
The question
And how
is,
do we stop this cycle?
Don't you have a
the
title?
question is, who's the owner at the moment?
The owner at the moment is the lady that bought it at an auction.
Okay, then
HUD
she-
has a lien on it for
Understood.
Well,
for
who's
like
her title
400
company?
some thousand.
But the person that owns the unit is the one that's responsible for paying the assessments. It's really that simple. I know you told me a very complicated, convoluted story, but it boils down to who is the current owner. And that owner is responsible for everything that came due up until the time that they became the owner. So I'd be going after her.
But shouldn't that show up
Okay.
in a title search?
So
all
It
that?
should have. Why it didn't when she bought this unit, why it didn't show up that there was a reverse mortgage on it, I have no idea.
What
No,
about
she didn't-
past assessments?
But-
Eric, she didn't do her homework.
Right, and she didn't get an estoppel letter apparently from the association. But she is the
Nothing.
one that owes all this money, no
Yeah.
two ways about it, and she's the one that you should be going after. Okay?
All right.
I hope
I
that
didn't
answers
know.
your
Okay,
question.
I appreciate it.
You got it, Joe.
Or
Always a
maybe
good
she didn't
time.
have a
Thank you.
mortgage.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Listen, a lot of times people go to these auctions and
And they just
they
buy it.
save up some money and they think, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to buy a unit on the cheap, and they don't do their homework. And they wind up buying a unit. They think
With
they
all
got
kinds
the
of
deal of
luggage.
a lifetime, right? And God knows how many liens are on
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
that the unit is currently in mortgage foreclosure, that they buy it with a whole bunch of problems, thinking that because they have some money in their hands, that they're going to get a great deal. And they don't even bother to get an attorney to go do the work
But
first.
she probably still owes the HUD thing.
For all I know,
'Cause
she
tag,
does. For all
she's
I
it.
know, she owes that mortgage
Yeah.
and she owes the association. I don't know.
Oh,
Should have got legal help first.
yeah.
Back to the phones, Rob.
Let's go to Armando in Monroe County.
Monroe County. How are you? Armando.
The keys.
Good morning. Good morning, Eric and Karen. Great to see you on the show again.
Sure thing. How can we help?
I have a question. What is the legal definition of a limited common area
A
and
limited common area.
on a condo?
Okay, limited common area of a condominium means it's still a common area, but the use is limited to a particular unit. For example, a great example of a limited common element could be a parking space, right? Where it's a limited common area only accessible to you. That unit has the right to that limited common element parking space.
What about a
An-
balcony?
A balcony is the easiest one, right? Your balcony that's attached to your unit, that's the best example. Obviously, you're the only one that could use your balcony. So the balcony is what's known as a limited common element for that unit, okay? It runs hand in hand with the unit. That's what a limited common element is.
Excellent. My second question, I'll try to be brief. Knowing so, is the owner of that unit or that limited area allowed to remodel it without a vote from the rest of the owners and or the board?
No, it's still a common element. So if you're going to make material alterations to it, the material alteration would require a vote of the community, typically a 3/4 vote. So the answer is no, they're not allowed. Typically, it would require a 3/4 vote of the community in order to make a material change.
So that would
to
be
that
like
common
installing an
element.
electrical outlet for your car
It
on your
could be
parking
that,
space and
yes.
putting a new floor
It
on
could,
the
yes, it could be.
balcony.
How about nailing screws into the walls just so you can put a satellite in there,
Well, okay,
right?
that's a
a ma-
common element. Okay.
attaching a satellite to the wall. Absolutely, that would be material alteration to the limited common element as
Got it.
well. Okay.
And last but not
Oh.
least, does the building official for the county have unlimited access when a code violation has taken place?
So if it's on the common elements, yeah, perhaps, but there's case law out there that says if a code enforcement officer wants to come into your unit and says open up, that officer is going to need a warrant to get in. So can't just knock on a door and say I'm coming in and you better let me in. No, it's a government official with the power to seriously get that unit owner in trouble. And that's because case law now says that a warrant is necessary. Okay?
Okay, and sorry, one last. What's going on with
Keep saying one
DBPR?
last
Are
question.
they doing their job or they're slacking?
Who?
DBPR.
Is DBPR doing their job or slacking? Their jurisdiction went up dramatically. The number of investigators went up dramatically. But I will tell you, not everybody is convinced that the results that were supposed to be coming quickly are in fact coming quickly.
It's like the 88,000 new employees at the IRS.
That never happened, right?
No.
No, good.
Is that it?
I think we'll stop on 4 questions, right?
I think it was 5.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks
All
for
right.
the call. You got it.
Thank
Someone
you.
wants to know
That
how
wasn't
a civil situation turns into a criminal situation with the lady with the grass.
Because and that's a great question,
Yeah.
because even in a civil court, right?
If
Even
you
in a
don't
civil
show
court,
up,
if you don't show up, and I believe the judge ordered her in this case to show up and with proof that she in fact is watering her lawn or something to that effect, and I want you back here in 30 days, here's the court date to show up. Apparently she didn't show up. Judge, and even in a civil case, can issue an arrest warrant
Oh
for
my
failing
God.
to show up. Yeah, judge is a judge to judge. They
well,
have
that's
power.
what. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how can a condo owner compel? Oops, it just changed. Well, there's someone that said if you're getting an email that says you can't leave things on your sidewalk, and then you don't remove them, and they come and remove them for you.
If it's
can
on
that
a
happen?
common element, yeah. Can the board take them off the common element?
Okay.
Sure they can. I mean, it's a fire violation as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, when it's a fire, right? People need to get out on those catwalks and get down to the staircase as fast as they can.
Move it.
Anything on there is considered a fire hazard. So I have no problem with them doing that, putting it in a location. I'm not saying throw it out,
Okay.
but put it in a location
Where you can
where
go
you
get
can
it.
say, look, we took it off the catwalks. Here's where it is. You can come get it. And if you don't get it within 2 weeks, yeah, we're going to get rid of it.
Okay.
No problem with that. Okay? Back to the phones, Rob. Keep them coming in, 717-452-9378.
Let's go to Judy.
Hello, Judy.
Hello, my name is Judy, and I'm from the west coast of Florida, around the Inglewood area.
How are you, Judy?
And I'm doing well, thank you. I am the only board member of 8 units, and after Hurricane Ian, we were destroyed. That hurricane stood over my house, over our condo, for 10 hours.
Oh,
Wow, it's
And
terrible.
I tried very hard to get everybody, all 8 people, to be a board member, but of course everybody's units were destroyed. Mine was completely destroyed, and everything in it. And so I've been processing our hurricane loss and everything else. We have an annual income of $58,000, and we're $58,000 in delinquency.
Okay.
And so I have not had the time to send out all the late assessments. I let them know that they're late. I send out a email with their payment history, but I haven't sent out formal letters of, certified letters. So I'm delinquent in that. However, I'm very overwhelmed.
Yes.
My unit is still uninhabitable.
But you still have
What
to
is
pay.
my
Right, exactly.
what is my obligation, or what is my liability because I haven't sent these out?
Okay, so your obligation is to comply with the law. Your obligation is to do whatever you can do to make sure that the unit owners are paying their assessments. And there's a statutory procedure that you have to follow in order to make sure everybody's paying. All right, we'll walk everybody through it really fast. It's the same thing for condos and HOAs. The first thing you have to do is you have to send a letter out to everybody saying, this is what you owe. You get one shot to pay it without attorney's fees being put on top. And you get 30 days to do that. If you don't pay within 30 days, then we're going to send you another letter that says, okay, now you have 45 days to pay. And if you don't pay within the 45 days, we're going to file a lien against your unit.
Ian was last year.
Yeah, a while ago, yeah. And if you don't pay the money that we're asking for in the lien letter, now the next letter you're going to get is, look, we actually did file a lien on your unit. Now you owe costs, you owe attorney's fees, etc. And you got one more shot. If you don't pay this within 45 days, now we're going to actually file a foreclosure lawsuit against you. And if the 45 days goes by and there's no payment, then you file a foreclosure lawsuit.
Even if there's no unit. Like the
correct.
Mexico Beach people, there was nothing there.
There was nothing, yeah.
They still had to pay.
But these people would lose their interest
Right.
in the condominium unit itself. So yeah, these are the things that you need to be doing. You know, I understand that you want to be nice and stuff, but this is your role as the president of the board. Now, what's interesting is you said that you're the only person serving on the board. And in Florida, the law is clear. You have to have a minimum of 3 people on the board of directors.
So now
Right.
you've got a problem.
So is there anybody that you can appoint to the board of directors?
Unless there's nobody who's willing to be on the board.
Yeah, but
Well,
then you go.
is there anybody else that's willing to be on the board with you?
Well, everybody's delinquent.
Yeah, I understand that's true. If they're 90 days or more delinquent, they can't even
Sounds
serve.
like a developer
That's
should
true.
come in there and just buy it all up.
Yeah, that is what it seems. It's true.
We
You're
have
in-
people who have only made one payment. One man has only made one payment since 2022. And several other people don't pay any assessments, or maybe they pay their HOA, but they don't pay their windows. They don't pay their insurance. They don't pay for the roof, their share of it.
Well,
So they're all delinquent.
did you wind up collecting insurance funds?
I paid it out of my own money. I put $15,000 in to pay for the insurance, but because my unit was not repaired in the siding.
No, for the whole building.
No. What I'm asking you is, did you put in an
we couldn't
insurance
keep our
claim?
insurance, so we're currently uninsured for our building. We have other insurances, but not. I paid for the building insurance, but they returned the money because our repairs are not completed.
Understood. Okay. Did you put in an insurance claim after the storm, and was the insurance claim paid?
Or did FEMA pay you?
FEMA did not pay. The insurance has paid two payments, but not the complete payment. I've been so sick that I haven't. I've just had a really hard time physically and mentally to get this process.
Well,
but
you need hold on. You can't do this by yourself. Hold on. You can't do this by yourself. Obviously, you're overwhelmed. So you're either going to get management or you're going to get an attorney to help you. But if you can't do it by yourself, then you have to admit that you need help and you have to go get help.
I do.
Right? Okay. So it's time to get, again, an attorney. It's time to get a management company, whatever it is that you need. You'd like to give us a call during the week off the air, you can do that. 954-983-1112. Again, 954-983-1112. And we look forward to hearing from you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's do this. Let's take our bottom of the hour break. Keep the calls coming in, everybody. 717-452-9378. That's 717-Glazer8. Or drop us a question or comment in the chat box on YouTube. We'll be back right after this.
Roomkiss Consultants offer the professional expertise to help condominium and cooperative communities provide safe, compliant buildings for their tenants. We have more than 170 Florida licensed engineers and architects who are experienced with local regulations and can assist with Senate Bill 4D compliance. We can help with milestone structural inspections, capital expenditure evaluations, structural integrity reserve studies, and developer transition reports. Focusing on energy, resilience, maintainability, and sustainability, our experts can help with every phase of the building life cycle. Contact us for inspections, building restoration, repair and remediation consulting, or mitigation after a catastrophic event.
All over the world, people have plumbing problems. These problems can be expensive and destructive to fix. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to take care of your plumbing problems without destruction and an outrageous price tag? Welcome to Pipelining Technologies, Inc., where we specialize in fixing your problems without demolition and minimum cutting by means of pipelining. Pipelining is the ability to take a pipe damaged by root intrusion or long-term deterioration and make it new. By means of inserting an epoxy-saturated liner into the pipe and allowing it to harden or cure, leaving behind a brand new pipe.
That sounds great. How can I get pipelining in my home, commercial building, or condominium?
Simply fill out our online contact form and a pipelining representative will get in touch with you in a timely fashion, or call us directly at 561-853-5463.
And welcome back to the second half of Condo Craze and HOAs here on our YouTube channel. Karen Curtis with attorney Eric Glazer, board certified in community association law. So if you're watching and you are a condo or HOA owner and you have crazy questions or crazy things happening to you, violations from Cynthia, violation.
Yes, sir.
Give us a call. The number to call is 717-GLAZER-8. That's 717-452-9378.
So let's look at the board for a second. Google Far writes in and says, in New York City, there was a broken windows policy which restored law and quality of life in New York City. If you ignore the small violations, then you change the flow of what public conduct is accepted. Google Far, do you really believe you should go to prison for using your bus pass on an off day? You're a lot tougher than I am, actually. You know what? Let's go back to the phones.
By the way, what equipment do most associations use for video conferencing? It would be Zoom.
I would say
assume.
Zoom. Yeah, Zoom is
they got rid of Skype.
Yeah, right. And the only other one
Teams.
that's used once in a while is Teams,
Teams.
right? Yeah, Zoom and Teams is by far, I'd say, the two most common ones. Back to the phones, Rob.
Let's go to Debbie.
How are you, Debbie?
Deerfield Beach.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, good morning.
Good morning. So my question is regarding board members. My building seems to have a new board. The board president is actually a recent board president and got back on. And it seems to me that this board is not sharing information with each other. So if you ask one board member one question, they don't know it because the board president is kind of holding on to the information themselves.
Okay.
My biggest question is they just started a fines committee, and that board president chose their own fines committee without letting anybody else know in the building or the rest of the board members. Is that allowed? How does
No,
that
it's
actually
not.
work?
It's not allowed. And as a matter of fact, if someone were to get fined, right, and go in front of that fining committee, there's certainly an argument that if the fining committee does in fact issue that fine, it would be totally unenforceable. Why? Because the board is the one that has to vote to put those members on the fining committee. If there's never a vote by the board to do that, then those members are not on there legally.
Okay.
So any actions that they take, totally meaningless, totally against the law. So the board better get their act together and make sure that the entire board votes to put these people on the committee, or what they do means nothing.
Second question is, do you have to have three, like you have to have an uneven amount. There's 3 people that they've chosen themselves right now, and a 4th person wants to get on there, and they're saying she can't get on because they don't want her on, but they also said that a 5th person needs to go on.
Yeah, there's nothing in the statute that requires an odd number of persons, but I do think it's a good idea to have an odd number of persons because you don't want to have like a 2-2 deadlock where nothing
Right.
gets accomplished.
Right.
So, I think you always want to have an odd number of people. And that goes not just for the committee, but for the board as well.
Okay. And my 3rd question was, there's been a lot of people trying to find out what had happened with this vote this year. It seems to me that the board president, or however the votes were counted, were not counted correctly. And a lot of people have written in to find out that they want the votes to be shown. And we're all kind of concerned.
When you say the
they
votes,
said they threw them out.
hold on. When you say the
They threw
votes,
them
do you mean
out.
the votes for the election?
Yeah.
Okay, so
a lot of people don't believe that how the board got up there, because there's so many people who voted for different people,
Right.
and those are the people who are not on the board. So it's kind of everyone wants to know
Right.
where the votes are, and they said they're gone.
Well, that's terrible because pursuant to the statute, the voting materials, including all the ballots, must be maintained for
Yeah.
a 1-year period
Yeah.
subsequent to the election. And it is absolutely a violation of Florida Statute 718.111 not to have them on hand for that 1 year.
Yeah, you can't say they're gone.
We can't say they're gone. Absolutely not. And if a complaint was filed against the association, that's definitely something that's going to anger the DBPR and going to result in a violation and fine against the association, no doubt.
Okay, so if an owner requests them, they should be readily available for
They
them.
should be available within 10 business days. Absolutely.
And we threw them out is not an answer.
Absolutely not. And it's going to subject the association, if they were sued in an arbitration action, they're going to wind up paying that owner a fine. There's going to be an order requiring them to turn it over. Then they could file an administrative complaint with the DBPR. This is something that can seriously get the condo association in a lot of trouble.
Is that something they should have put on the website, the results?
The results, yes, they didn't have to put the ballots themselves on.
Oh, okay. And they're
but the
questioning
ballots
results.
themselves
All right.
absolutely are to be there for 1 year.
Okay.
Any owner is allowed to look at them. Okay?
Okay. Yep. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Good luck. Who else we got, Rob?
Next caller is Bill from.
Bill.
Not seeing where he's calling in. Bill, where are you calling from?
Here. Morning, Eric. Morning, Karen.
Hey, good morning. Where you from, Bill?
Bill Murray in Hollywood.
Oh, how are you, Bill? Good morning.
I have one question.
Yes.
Promise, Karen.
Let's see if Bill is an honest
Earlier-
man.
Earlier, a caller asked you about authorized officials, the building code enforcement's going into a unit, and you said by case law to have an affidavit, a warrant. Sorry.
Yep.
Currently, if you have a construction project, permitted, legitimate, insured, everything's on the up and up. The final phases are a rough inspection and then a final complete inspection.
Okay.
And if the work happened in limited common elements or within the actual unit owner, my understanding, the code enforcement comes for the inspection, right? If the building inspector comes, he has every right to go into whatever unit was designated to have that work performed.
If who is the permit holder? Is the permit holder the association?
Good trick question.
Yeah.
So, City of Hollywood wants a specific unit owner number.
Right.
I was told to use unit 00.
Okay.
It didn't go through.
Right.
So as the board officer, a particular unit was used for the permit, but the plans were submitted for all this work.
Okay. In that type of a situation, do I think that yes, can you allow the building official to go in? Yes, this is different. This is different than the situation that I was referring to, where you like call up the building official and you rat on a neighbor and you say, listen, my next door neighbor just did extensive plumbing or electrical in their unit. You need to get in there immediately, right? And the building official knocks on the door and says, I want to come in now. The unit owner doesn't have to let them in.
Oh.
Now, that's a lot different than the association applying for, trying to do a job, in the community. And if a building official needs to get into a unit just to make sure that the plumbing in that unit is done correctly, that's a lot different than ratting on your neighbor. Do you know what I'm saying? So yes, I think in that situation, the building official, you might be able to let the building official in because you have a right of entry into units, right? The statute actually allows you to do that, but that's something totally different. So do I think you can let them in? Yeah, I think you can.
Just don't eat their lean cuisines.
Exactly. I hope that answers your question, Bill. That's different.
Peg, remember
Thanks,
Judy?
guys. Have a great
You
show.
got it,
Thank
Bill.
you.
Be well.
Judy, the caller. So Peg goes, timely bills isn't billing a courtesy. Don't you have to pay? You pay your stuff without. I don't get bills for my
No,
stuff.
you don't. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they're delinquent, and it's not her fault to send out.
that absolutely correct. Bless
Pardon me.
you.
Oh my
So a
gosh.
lot of associations use coupon books, right? So they'll give
Really?
they
Still?
give coupon books. Yeah, a lot of them. So every month you tear out a coupon and you mail in your payment.
Oh my
right?
God, mine's all automated.
A lot, right? And
Yeah.
some don't. But regardless of that, you still have an obligation every month to pay your bill.
If you have a coupon, you got to pay it.
Yeah, and even without the coupon, right? Even if you don't have it, right? You still have an obligation every month
And so
to make
she
sure.
doesn't have to send
you're
them a letter.
She doesn't have to send them a letter each month that says pay, but she does have to send the
they're
letter that said
delinquent.
if they're delinquent,
Okay.
yeah, she's got to go after them.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Okay,
And
there you go.
not to do so, right, would be a clear breach of her fiduciary duty owed to the association.
Especially if she got 2 insurance payments.
Especially if she can't pay her bills. Right? Bottom line. Let's do this. Let's take our final break of the hour. Keep the calls coming in. Do not wait until the last second. 717-452-9378. Again, 717-452-9378. Or drop us a question or comment in the chat box on YouTube. We will be back right after this.
In South Florida, the transition from bright sunshine to heavy rain and hurricanes can take a toll on your property's exterior and structural integrity. Cracked stucco, spalled concrete, they're more than eyesores. They can signal deeper issues. Now, with new Florida laws involving structural integrity requirements, we want to help you meet your milestone inspections and maintain the durability and beauty of your building. Since 2004, PD has been the trusted expert in structural concrete restoration, painting, and waterproofing for condominiums and commercial properties. Visit pd-concrete.com or call us today.
Life is full of steps. We learn to take small steps and big steps. We take steps toward adventure to discover what's next. At South State, helping you take each step is what inspires us to keep moving forward, so you can keep enjoying what's next in your life. This is banking at its best. This is banking forward.
We are DMI Paving and Seal Coating, Florida's parking lot experts. We specialize in asphalt paving and repair, including pothole repair, seal coating using JC7 or polytar, concrete curbs, ramps, and walkways, and striping and pavement marking, as well as ADA compliance. We service commercial properties, including homeowners associations, apartment communities, shopping malls, warehouses, stadiums and arenas, and more. Experience is worth more than anything in an industry like ours, and our staff has decades of it. We have specialized equipment for any job, regardless of size, saving you time and money. DMI has a reputable history. We have been in business since 1956. We serve the state of Florida from 6 locations. Let us bid on your next parking lot project. Visit us online at dmipavingandsealcoating.com.
Welcome back to the final segment of Condo Craze and HOAs. And if you'd like to get a call in real quick, the number 717-Glazer-8. That's 717-452-9378. Eric teaches the courses that you by law have to take if you are new to the board of your condo. Even HOA members can come. And
So happy it's mandatory now.
Yep. And you're teaching this at 8 a.m. and all of them are located at the condo and HOA expos all over the state. And we're starting in Broward on October 7th, 8
Yes,
a.m.
again, 8 a.m. at the L&L Condo and HOA Expo. After October 7th, the next week on October 16th, we'll be in Palm Beach at the Palm Beach Convention Center.
And then in Tampa on October 21st.
At the Tampa Bay Convention Center. Beautiful place. What I love about that place is that's where I took the bar exam.
That's right.
Goes full circle, right?
Oh, that's so
and
cool.
then October 29th, we'll be in Bradenton.
And then Miami. He's going to be in Miami November 5th.
And Orlando on November 12th. Sign up. It's mandatory now.
Reserve funding, the importance of the from time to time language that people need to know about, etc.
There's so much to know.
Yeah,
Really, this year there's a lot
all the
to
new
know.
laws, yeah.
Condo members, if you took the 4-hour class last year, this year you got to take 1 hour of continuing education.
So they can do that with this?
Yes, they can do that with this. I'm not teaching the 4-hour course for HOA members for continuing education, but everything else, yes. Okay. There's just so much that
And then
one guy
where
can
can
do.
they get that?
I don't know. I'm
Okay.
really not sure where it's being taught, the 4-hour course
The
again.
DBPR wouldn't do it because it's HOA.
They might be doing it. I
Oh.
don't know, but I think it's too much if you ask me to be. If
It's
I'm
a
being
lot for
honest,
the
that's a lot.
HOA.
4-hour course for HOA members, I think, is a lot. But if you want to sign up for any of my classes, just do so by going to CondoCraze and HOAs.com. I think, Rob, you wanted to ask me a question.
Yeah, there was a good comment about whether you have to send your board if through a record request through mail, snail mail, or email.
Oh man, this is so complicated. It's not an easy answer. So the statute says in writing, right? You have to ask for access to the records in writing, the condo statute. So we have what's called a declaratory statement from the division that says emails are a writing. Okay, that's like from the head of the division that answers a question. Is an email a writing? And the head of the division says, yes, it's a writing. Problem is the arbitrators that work for the DBPR, they don't have to follow that, right? The arbitrators are not bound by that decision. So the arbitrators say, nope, emails are not a writing. So if you would sue your association for failing to respond to an email request for access to records, right, you would lose. Why? Because they're not under an obligation to respond to your email request. However, there's an exception to that. There's a case out there that comes out of Aventura that says where a unit owner sent a request for access to records, right? And he did it by email. And the manager says, I got your email, and yes, I will be providing you access to the records. I got your email. I'm going to treat your email as a writing. And then the manager ignored the email, right? And then the unit owner said, you shouldn't have ignored me. I'm going to now sue you in arbitration. The case goes to arbitration, and the condo says, well, nah, you can't sue us. Why? Because an email isn't a writing. And the arbitrator said, no, I'm not going to let you play that game. If association, if manager, if you got this email and you treated it as a writing and the unit owner relied upon that promise to treat it as a writing, we're not going to let you weasel your way out of it.
What if you put the thing on there that says, let me know when it's been received and read? Isn't that...
Would that matter?
Doesn't that constitute that it was received and read like a certification?
Not necessarily. Here, they actually told him, relax,
Right.
Don't worry, we're going to respond. And if you get a response like that to an email, you're good, and they better respond. And if they don't, they're going to get hit with that $500 penalty. They're going to get hit with an injunction. They're going to get hit with attorney's fees.
Who initially said it was a writing?
So you have
DBPR?
Yeah, you have differences between what's called a declaratory statement from the division.
The division.
Right, and the opinions of the arbitrators.
Okay.
The arbitrators refusing to listen to the interpretation of the division.
Well, it sounds like you need a law that says an email is a writing.
And it's not there.
So
right?
the arbitrator
and that
can
doesn't
say,
exist
okay.
at the moment, right? There's just a declaratory statement. Back to the phones. If
And
that doesn't confuse you, I don't know what will. But
And for HOAs, you must
certified mail return receipt requested. Absolutely.
One more comment for anyone out there on the video conferencing. Zoom does have a feature that'll live translate to your language. So if you speak Spanish or Portuguese or something like that, you could follow along in your native language.
That is incredible.
And it also prints it out. You can save the copy of the whole meeting.
That's wild. I had no idea that it could do it. It's translating in a language as you're listening to the meeting.
The captions.
Incredible. Wow.
Nice.
All right.
What else we got?
Over to Paul in Miami.
How are you, Paul?
How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
I got a question. I've been living in this condominium in Miami, Florida.
Yes.
For more than 40 years. Okay, and I was on the board of directors in the past. Now there has been a problem that we have had a 50 years bylaws, and there were situations. In other words, like the board members that were currently before, they kind of changed things around to make the people happy and all that stuff. And like one of the situations were that they put motorcycles. They let us put motorcycles, and which the bylaw says no motorcycles, no more campers, no more boats, nothing whatsoever. But I guess board members were trying to be lenient. Now I've been living, like I said, 40 years in this place. About maybe 30 years, we haven't had a problem at all. We have had new members of the board that came in, and they want to change all that because they want to go back to the 50 years bylaw. And I'm just saying, can they do that? I mean, is that but the law?
Okay, so that's a good question. So I think what this gentleman's saying is you have a set of rules and regulations basically. They've been ignored for a long time. New board comes in and the board wants to go back to reinforcing what's in the written documents. I'll give you an example of where it's most prevalent. It's most prevalent when it comes to pets, right? Let's say there's a provision in the governing documents that say no pets, right? It's a no pet community, but over a period of time, and we're not talking about emotional support animals and stuff like that, but over a period of time, pets were allowed into the community. Now a new board comes in and says, you know what? We want to go back to what it says in the governing documents, no pets. Is there a way to do things like that? Same thing, no motorcycles. We want to go back to no motorcycles. Could we do it? Yes, we can. What the new board would have to do, though, is to have a meeting, right, and say, okay, here's what our governing documents say. It says no motorcycles.
And you're not grandfathered
right?
in.
You are grandfathered in. For those of you who have a motorcycle at the moment, you will be grandfathered in. If you have a motorcycle, register it by a certain date, right? But beyond that date, anybody that has a motorcycle, sorry, you came in after we decided to reinforce this rule, and we're going after you. So it's called readopting and reinforcing the rule.
Gee,
yes, you can do that.
That didn't happen with the board, or did it?
It certainly did.
Yeah, can you imagine if that happened? Okay, you're grandfathered in.
No,
So that was,
there is no
what you're saying is
grandfathering
the new board can implement that, but they cannot make us move the motorcycle. Am I right? Is that
For
what you're
those
saying?
people that have been allowed to have the motorcycles all these years, they're grandfathered in.
You're
they can't,
fine.
Yeah, they can't now suddenly enforce this rule against them. That's right.
Because the thing is, what they're saying is that by next month they want all the motorcycles to be out.
Well, if those people want to fight back,
this
they
board
can
member, they work with attorneys. So apparently they're doing this now. What they're saying is that if you have a motorcycle is the only means of transportation, you are allowed to park in the property, anywhere, where your parking space is assigned, like for a vehicle.
Right.
Now that looks tacky because you got cars and you got the motorcycle.
Yeah, I
but
hear
then,
you. Hold up.
I'm saying is that, if the bylaw says no motorcycles, why should they, they give you the right to to park your motorcycle if that's the only means of transportation? You should park it outside. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I hear you. Hold up. I hear you. But those people who have the motorcycles and they've been parking it there for what you're telling me now, decades, even though it was on the books, they should not be forced to immediately now have to relocate their motorcycles.
But
They're
if it's a
grandfathered
second
in.
vehicle and not their primary mode of transportation, then they can't.
Maybe. Again, I don't know what specifically the documents say. I'd have to see it. I'm just trying to teach the concept that once you've allowed somebody to do something for so many years, that's it. They're
like
grandfathered in. You're
renters.
stopped from enforcing the rule.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Okay. So,
Hey,
so
thanks
in
for the
other words,
call. We
like
got to
right
keep
now, like
going. We got 5 minutes
by
left.
by
Rob,
next
back
month.
to the phones. Who else we got?
All right, next caller is David from Tampa.
How are you, David?
Hey there. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure thing.
We have we kind of try to combine our budget meeting and annual member meeting all in one and try to do it in November. So we have to give the 60-day notice for basically the budget meeting since we're doing it all together. We are in the process of possibly looking at new management, which would make a difference in the cost or the budget amount. If we put out a budget with one cost, and then after we send out the mailing, how do we go about changing the budget? Can we do that at the budget meeting?
So if there's two different notice requirements, one for the budget, one for the annual meeting. Your budget only requires a 14-day notice. So you can send out a new amended budget only 14 days before your annual/budget meeting, and you're good. You don't have to send that budget out 60 days in advance. You could just send out a new amended proposed budget 14 days in advance of that, again, annual meeting/budget meeting, and you're fine. And you comply with the statute.
Okay, so we would have to send out a third mailing.
14 days with the new amended
14
budget.
days prior to the budget meeting.
Correct. That's right. Showing the new proposed amended budget. Okay.
All right.
Now, let me ask you this, because I'm curious how you do it. What's going to go first? Is on the day of the annual meeting/budget meeting, are you going to pass the budget first, or are you going to do the election first?
We do the budget first, then we do the general meeting, and then we do the election.
Okay. Only reason I'm asking that is because some associations don't think that's fair to the new board, right? Because a new board comes in and they're like, wait a minute, 10 minutes ago, there was a vote for the budget, and we as a new board, why should we be stuck with that new budget that some other board just put in? Shouldn't we as the new board have the right to pass a budget that we believe is correct, right? Instead, the minute we get on the board, we're stuck with a budget that someone passed, 10 minutes ago. So different ways to look at it.
I hear you. I understand that. We have a hard enough time getting people to come and be on the board.
Sure.
That's another issue. But in that regard, everybody is open to coming to the meeting, to the budget meeting. As you have stated before, it's an open member meeting.
Right.
So they can put their 2 cents in beforehand.
Sure.
And then, in that regard, so I don't think it's that unfair. But, there are certain things that just have to be done in a timely manner. So, we try to get it out in November so that the quote unquote coupon books can be printed up by the bank.
I get it.
Be done by January.
Yep. Makes sense. I hear you loud and clear. Appreciate the phone call. One thing I can't figure out. He says it's hard getting people to run for the board. Why should it be so hard to get people to run for the board? Just listen to the show. It's all fun and games, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just praise to all the board members constantly all the time. I don't get it.
It's not like we're asking you to run a marathon.
Yeah, exactly. But that brings us to the end of another show, everybody. If you need legal help off the air, just give us a call. 954-983-1112. Again, 954-983-1112. Robert, amazing job with the graphics today. Thank you so much for making the show a lot of fun. Of course, you too, Karen, like always, every week.
Thank you.
And of course, we'll see you and speak to you again next Sunday at 11 a.m. on Condo Craze and HOAs. Have a wonderful, safe week, everybody. Take care.